We collaborate. Everything we do in HR is not done without the leaders of the organization being involved in it, whether it be at the executive level or at the frontline level. One of the things that I lead with is enabling and empowering leaders to do their jobs, providing them with the tools and resources and the capabilities to do it effectively, and truly seeing HR as a partner in the organization. We're not here to rule or to govern from a different lithosphere in the company. We're here to support their success. We define our success based on the success of our leaders and our employees of the organization.
Welcome to Built by People Leaders podcast. I'm your host, Daria Rudnik, and this show is for HR and L&D leaders, those building real impact from within and building AI-ready organizations. If you go to dariarudnik.com, you can download the State of HR in AI Transformation 2026 report. And we're here to help you build leaders and teams that perform when everything keeps changing. And today, I have a very special guest. I'm very excited about our conversation today. Dom Dib, who is the head of human resources at the technology firm Maplewave, bringing 20 years of experience to empower tech professionals and cultivate highly accountable, performance-driven teams. With a strategic mission to modernize traditional HR landscapes, Dom leverages AI, data analytics, and automation to streamline critical operations and elevate the employee experience. By championing a progressive people and culture strategy, he drove initiatives that culminated in Maplewave winning the Digital Nova Scotia Talent Champion Award and earning a recognition as one of the best places to work in Atlantic Canada. Wow, what an achievement. Welcome, Dom. Thanks for being here today with us.
Thank you, Daria. Thanks for having me.
Well, I have so many questions to ask you, but I want to start with one question that I'm really curious about, and that is your corporate value, continuous curiosity. Tell us about why is it important to have to be curious at work?
I think that question is a very good one today when you think about just how much has rapidly evolved with artificial intelligence making its way into the industry. But continuous curiosity is the foundation of where creativity and innovation come from. And we use that there to our leverage to think about ways and how we can do things better, not just with processes and procedures, but also thinking about how we can do better with our products for our customers as well. So it's an important value to have because, thinking of it there from a business point of view, you want to be competitive. You want to stay ahead of the competition in the market, and you want to be distinct. And, I think that continuous curiosity really lays that foundation for you. So under that continuous curiosity mindset or value itself, it stands for not standing still and not accepting mediocrity, that we are always learning in a moving and a rapid industry, and that we are curious and that we do want to improve. So developing those mindsets really makes that core value so valuable there for our organization.
I love it. I mean, for me personally, curiosity is one of the core values. And when things change so fast at work, and I don't know if you have that same thing, like AI is entering, people just, wow, what I do? I will lose my job. But when you turn on this curiosity and try to understand and be curious about this new technology, how can I use it? How can it help me? What can I do with it? It kind of reduces and removes this fear and anxiety and turns it into a learning opportunity.
Yeah, it's so true. When you can look at AI there and see for what it truly is, it is that assistive tool that can make things faster and process quicker, albeit you do want to still, do spot checks to make sure the data is accurate. But using it to your advantage there to improve your quality of work and shifting your work so that you're doing stuff that is less administrative, more automated, and where you can focus on the strategy side of the business. That's one of the things that I've learned with the use of AI there is to embrace it for that purpose.
Well, Dom, tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey in HR.
Okay. I didn't really start off in HR at first. I was young and ambitious and full of energy to get out there into the retail world. In a very short period of time, I made my way up into a sales manager role with a former retailer here in Canada, electronics business. But I learned that I didn't really care much for numbers. I wasn't really into the numbers business. I learned I had a strength in developing people, develop them with their sales behaviors or their sales techniques, and having a genuine passion to see them succeed. And that's when I realized that I felt HR was more in line with my personal values than working in sales. So sure enough, I decided to focus down that path and made my way up to where I am today, 20 plus years later.
I'm curious whether this sales experience is actually helping you in your current job.
Well, to some degree, it has helped me because one of the beneficial things I think working in the retail industry is knowing that you develop skills to be assertive. You develop skills, some tremendous soft skills around customer service, empathy being an essential skill I think that every HR professional should have. But also there's some skills that you develop, like being internally competitive, I guess you can say, to want to drive results and to prove to yourself and to prove to others that the work can be done if the thoughts and the efforts put into it.
I guess like there's one more thing is that you can speak numbers. I mean, you can turn these HR initiatives into some benefits for business.
Yeah.
Would that be?
Absolutely. Speaking about analytics, like every business, HR there does rely on numbers for those purposes, defining metrics and using those metrics to really understand the organizational health as it relates to anything, HR-wise, people, processes and such. So AI has been great for that because you can feed it data and prompt it there with certain inquiries or analytics that you want to draw from it, and it'll produce it for you. It's been great for that as well.
I'm curious, like, what are the metrics you monitor the most, or you think the most important ones?
It varies. I would say that when it comes to the pulse of the employees, gathering data around their satisfaction at work or work conditions or the tools and systems we use, getting some of the sediments there that AI can pull that information and analyze it for you, using the data, or using AI, there for the purpose of analyzing capabilities of individuals that are looking to come into the organization. So if you're using it there for talent acquisition, it's great that if you can engineer your AI to be able to quantify data that is analyzed from an individual, from a candidate's portfolio, it helps you to see things quantifiably to make an informed decision about whether the person is the right fit for your organization. Yeah. You use it for other analytics too, whether you're looking at turnover results or your average days to fills and all that stuff. So there's no limitations on what type of metrics you can use for it.
I mean, and I like this what you said about the AI analyzing like people's like portfolio and capabilities, and especially when it's smaller teams, like kind of not huge organizations, when you can hire, like in the enterprise, you can hire someone and say, okay, maybe we'll then feed them somewhere else. But when you are a lean organization, you need to be very absolutely sure that this person fits this team, and having AI to help you understand better like the capabilities and where these people can fit. I mean, it's a great way to use AI.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Daria. We are a team of 2 individuals for our organization here. And we use AI to our full advantage to be able to develop processes, to automate certain things that help speed that process without losing efficiency, without losing sight of the details, to ensure that we are making informed decisions along the way with onboarding or bringing new employees on staff, but also through the entire employee journey as well.
And speaking about like this corporate values, the curiosity and other values that you have, like how do you make sure that people who join your company actually have it? Like how do you test that? And more importantly, how do you make sure that managers or hiring managers, they pay attention to it?
So one of the things I believe in is hiring for fit. And I think that's one of the things that brought me to Maplewave, is knowing that fit's important to the culture here as well. Maplewave had a wonderful culture long before I came on, and it continues to thrive. It continues to have a thriving culture. But fit is a very important thing. So as we're bringing new employees on, we always incorporate behavioral interviewing questions into the onboarding or in pre-screening. And they're all specifically related there to the core values that we are living and breathing here. So it's important for us there to be able to evaluate candidates and the scenarios and the experiences they share with us as it relates to those core values, to know and to put a good measure on whether or not they'd be an ideal fit for us. So continuous curiosity, we would have questions that we would ask employees, whether it be about how they stay up to date in modern technology, or whether they're incorporating AI into their personal life or professional life as it is today.
And like behavioral structured interviews is a great way to understand how people feel. I mean, it's not just asking, like, are you curious? Yes, I am. Kind of tell me a story, give me an example of how you do this or that. Is it the responsibility of HR to check on those competencies, or like how do you involve managers in this process?
We collaborate. Everything we do in HR is not done without the leaders of the organization being involved in it, whether it be at the executive level or at the frontline level. One of the things that I lead with is enabling and empowering leaders to do their jobs, providing them with the tools and resources and the capabilities to do it effectively, and truly seeing HR as a partner in the organization. We're not here to rule or to govern from a different lithosphere in the company. We're here to support their success. We define our success based on the success of our leaders and our employees in the organization. We know that we're doing a good job if they're succeeding, and because we're the ones that are responsible to bring in those resources into the company. So, but it's all done, in cohesively, or it's done there in partnership with the leaders to ensure that we're both in tune, we're both aligned to the same decision making, and all there with the intent and purpose of succeeding in the end.
It's great that you have this connection with managers and leadership. And like I remember from my personal experience is that like when you have this strong team and leadership support, you can talk to people, you can build amazing programs. But sometimes there are things that they accept, and sometimes that like you can't push it through. Like for me personally, it was very hard for me to push through ideas about like developing the executive team. Like we're good developing all the people in the organization, but when it comes to executive team, no, we're fine, we're good. No need to do anything about it. I'm curious, like how do you have any challenges? Like, is there anything that like area that it's hard to influence, or what do you do to actually make your case?
Well, I've been very fortunate along the way there to work with great leaders of Maplewave that recognize and value human resources as an integral component of its business. I've had, before even joining the organization, I've had many conversations about what their vision for human resources were and how that fits. So I'm grateful that I was brought into an organization by the COO who shares, the same vision as I do for what HR is all about. But, I think what's important is that your strategy or your vision for HR is not always going to mirror to what, the seniors want, the senior executives want in the company. Sometimes it's because you just did a complete miss in what they're asking or what you think might work, or sometimes it's a matter of you not doing an effective job to articulate the value. And I think that's the important thing is really just to anticipate, truly understand what your business partner is asking of you, and then just helping to get them to see it from an ROI perspective. What is the return on the investment? How does it benefit Maplewave? How does it benefit the people and the leaders, and creating that value? And I think over the years, got better at it. Not perfect, but getting better.
And again, I think it's curiosity, like being really curious about what bothers them and how can you help them. And that's the first step. And the second step, what is the language they speak and understand, and kind of speaking the same language. And that helps both to first understand what is it that they want, and then to make sure that you can explain it so that they understand it and accept.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, HR can tell a wonderful story about all the great things leading up to it, but sometimes it's just a matter of giving the end result first, so they know how it's going to benefit the organization, and the rest of it will come after.
Like, thanks for saying that, because in one of the previous episodes, like some of the guests mentioned that do not wait for permission. Like do something first, show the result, and that'll be easier for you to explain like what is it that you're doing and the benefits it's bringing. So
Yeah.
stop waiting for permission.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you do have to take that.
You're a small team and distributed organizations globally in Canada, South Africa, Middle East, other countries. How do you make sure that like, the culture is everywhere? I mean, the same. It's the same corporate culture, same values, same processes.
It's all around standardization and rollout, just ensuring that everybody knows what our culture is all about, whether it be the core values or it's the processes and the tools we develop and such. But I would be remiss if I didn't share that there is an individual in this organization that has played a significant role in creating that glue, creating that connectivity in the organization. And she might not be appreciative of me calling her out by name, but her name is Sandra Pitts. And I give her a lot of credit. She's actually the executive assistant here at Maplewave. Even long before I came, I've heard stories about the connectivity she would create from all corners of the world. And it became even more of a relevant practice when COVID hit and we had to work remotely. We looked at ways to try to try to keep the spirit of our culture alive and keep employees engaged. And Sandra played an integral role in that. When I think of our core values and somebody living and breathing that continuous curiosity value itself, I think of her because of what she's been able to do to create that connectivity, whether it's remote or it's in the office.
Thanks for sharing this because again, like when we were all in the office, for many companies out there, like when we were in the office, we kind of naturally connected. But when we all went remote, and again, when you build a distributed organization, global organization, you don't have this bumping into each other. But so it's intentional connections, being intentional about connecting people and making sure we're all on the same page and living the same culture. Yes.
Absolutely. I think COVID, we learned a lot there, just how much we value being connected with people.
Yeah.
And how much was at stake there when we had to shift gears a little.
It was a great lesson how to run remote global organizations because when everyone is not in the office and kind of have now more freedom to hiring people all over the world, whether they are contractors, permanent employees, new offices, and other.
Yeah, that's very true. You're absolutely right about that, Daria. It really has shifted the way we do business today, and that we are more connected now globally than we ever have been before because of it. And to this very day, there's lots of companies that are still hiring remote and hybrid for that very purpose.
People love it. I mean, you will not be able to get all everyone in one office anymore. No way. 40 hours work in the office. No way.
Yeah, some people are dead set against it, going back into the office again.
Yeah. Well, tell us, Dom, you mentioned like automation as part of like helping you bring everyone on board and do your job with such a small team. Like, what is it how does it work for you?
Yeah, it's still a work in progress, but we've come a long way where we were just a year ago. So one of the things that my colleague and I worked on was finding ways on how we can take some of the more administrative burdened tasks and build them into automation and simplify the administration there, even for the end user. So I'll give you one example of that is just when we do onboarding. We would do a 30, a 90, and a 180-day check-in with the individual, with our new hire, just to see where they are with their experience, their employee experience, their onboarding, becoming acclimatized to the new culture, and how their training is going. So we have a process built there where on those key milestone dates, they would receive an employee link or a link, to a survey that they can complete, and it'll ask them prompt questions. Simultaneously, the leaders are also getting a link to complete their 30, 90, and 180-day probationary reviews. And that data, when it's completed, comes back to HR. We're able to analyze that, and we're looking for various things. We're looking for their engagement in the workplace, their psychological safety, if they feel that there's a sense of belongingness. Are there any gaps with the onboarding process? Are there any gaps with their training that we can share with the leader? And the leader also is doing the same thing with the probationary review, where they're more or less evaluating their capabilities and their contributions to date. So it's great because we're getting data on both sides, and then we're supporting both sides with how we can build further on that relationship going forward. So AI has been helpful because we use the AI and the various tools that we have that we're licensed with or we built, automate those schedules, collect that data, and we can use AI to gain sediments behind the employee's feedback and also the leader to know where there might be some gaps with that relationship to build it further.
Did AI help you? Like, is there any example of how AI helped you find something that wouldn't be probably possible without AI? If you have anything like that.
I think, well, AI is as good as the information we feed it, which is always helpful. But I would say that the prompts and instructions we build into it there help us to keep the data and the responses there in a controlled environment that allows us there to work within what suggestions it's providing. So it's giving us the output that aligns with the input we give it, if that makes sense.
And yeah, it's good that you kind of control this hallucination process as well, like by giving some strict boundaries. Yes, you don't want to see that. Okay, what's that? And what I like about what you're saying, this onboarding process, it's not just like HR is responsible for that, monitoring how employees are feeling, but it's a partnership of employee who's filling in the survey, HR who's observing, leaders who are also filling in there's some information, and that you have this holistic picture of how things are going.
Yeah,
But I know you're like using some of your own products as well for your automation. Tell
we
us
are.
about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the many awesome products that Maplewave makes is a technology or a platform called Paperless. It's a platform you can use there for various documentation purposes, which is all virtual. There's nothing involving paper, hence the name Paperless. So, just as much as we build these tools or this product there for our customers, we ourselves in HR use it. And we use it there to help us navigate through all kinds of administrative tasks we have, whether it's to do with new hire documents or getting various agreements signed off, or we use it there with our performance review process as well to ensure that employees get an opportunity to share their comments before signing off on their quarterly reviews and annual reviews. So it's made its way in becoming an integral technology for our HR department. Being a two-person team, we've come to realize just how invaluable this technology has been.
And I can imagine like this feeling of using the products created like by your own company that's selling elsewhere, but you use it, and I can relate to that feeling. And you can give feedback like, hey guys, this one is not working.
It's great, you know what? Because the thing about our software team is that we do have a channel set up in our Slack communication portal exclusively for paperless. So if we have like an opportunity or if we're having an issue, they respond to it. And there was one I gave insights on not long ago, and within days they updated their version to include that. And I was just like, wow, it's incredible. But
Yeah.
that's the kind of team we have. And it circles back to the whole continuous curiosity there. When we're saying that we are curious and we want to improve, teams live and breathe that. And I see it so much there with the paperless team because they're always looking for ways to make the product more efficient than what it is capable of today, because they know that's going to translate to a customer product someday where the customer is going to value it. That's just going to broaden from there as more customers purchase it.
It's a sign of great culture when you use your product, you know that you can go to the team that develops and works on it, and they'll accept your feedback, and they'll be happy for you to give them feedback and update the product. That's co-creation when it's not just engineers who do it or salespeople who sell it, but it's the whole team is involved in developing this product. That's really kind of again, sign of great culture. I love it.
Absolutely. We recently had just completed our employee opinion survey, and one of the things that came from it there is just how much the organization, our employees, value the teamwork, that they see and they experience every day here.
And I know you have a story to share with us about AI talent development program that you did.
This was a new venture for me, but it was an opportunity because, we were looking at ways and how we can, strengthen the bridging of our employees and talents and giving them a path forward there to further broaden their talents or develop new skills or perhaps even enhance current ones. We've leveraged AI to help develop these learning paths. And what it consisted of was a combination of human intelligence involving our leaders to map out and path out our path, the key skills, competencies, and abilities of each role, and then using that there to, as part of an evaluation, to know where AI could recommend new training and courses based on where there could be some, where there were some opportunities for someone to progress in their career or in their journey here at Maplewave. It was pretty cool to see that come to fruition. It was not an easy undertaking. It wasn't something that happened overnight. It actually took almost a year to do it. But just to see the whole process happen from where the human interaction of providing the data and then using that data there to feed into AI that help to curate these learning paths that will align that individual's career for success and their journey with us as well. One thing I do want to preface is that anybody that wants to use AI for the purposes of talent assessments, development, or even with pre-screening candidates should always do it with caution. Check your privacy laws to ensure that they allow you to do so. We at Maplewave, what we do is we don't vet personal data about individuals. We just vet data that is without individual content involved. So it's just focusing exclusively on the role and the talent, not individuals involved. But I do think it's important there that is recognized in any governance that where AI is actually being put in, that you do have the proper governance around privacy.
Yeah, and especially for those who listen to us in Europe, I mean, you definitely need to make sure that humans make decisions. AI is just a support system, something that adds you a little bit more information to make this informed decision, but it's never AI who's making a hiring decision or firing decision or anything like that. And I like what you said about your program, that you ask questions and AI helps you navigate this learning path, but it doesn't give you like direct answer, do this or do that, because we need to keep our thinking working and our brains working. Yeah.
That's the biggest fear is, we don't want critical thought to go like the dodo bird. But I think that we always pause to realize that it's great for processing information and providing recommendations. But at the end of the day, it does need to have the human intelligence behind the decision making before being deployed there in an organization of whatever that task or that prompt you had asked it for suggestions on. And so use it there for the tool it is, but never use it to replace the person that needs to be involved in that decision.
Well, Dom, it was an incredible conversation. There's so much interesting information. I have one final question for you. If you had a magic wand that could solve any professional challenge HR leaders have, what would that be?
Oh, gosh. Fix payroll problems, because they're just inevitable. They always happen. There's always an oversight or a misstep or a mistake. So if I could magically just wave my wand and make all the payroll problems go away, I think the world would be a better place.
They're very painful. People do not forgive that easily.
And I don't think there's any automation in the world or any AI in the world that can fix all the payroll problems. They just happen. They're inevitable.
Okay, well, thanks for being here. Thanks for answering my questions. How people can find you, how people can reach out to you, learn about what you do, your products.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Sadia. They can reach out to maplewave.com, or if they want to reach out to me directly, they're welcome to visit my LinkedIn profile. You can find me under Dom Dib, or you can send me an email if you'd like to at dom.dib@maplewave.com. I'd love to hear from anybody that wants to continue this conversation further or just wants to know a little more about our products. Be more than happy to do that as well.
Amazing. And we have all the links at the notes for this episode. So make sure to reach out to Dom, connect with him on LinkedIn, ask about the paperless product. And well, if you like this show, please give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and stay tuned for the next episodes. Bye.